What can you expect when you come to LV Studio?
Sort of like how the sessions run, you mean, or just
Yeah, like how is a session going to be run? What tech do we have? How do you rehearse on camera? What can
right?
I see when I come into LV Studio? Um, that
Copy.
kind of thing.
Great. Should I take it back to the booking process a little bit to explain it, or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
take us through like you booking a session for with me in LV Studio.
gotcha. So eventually we'll put up a video and we'll do a screencast of me literally going through the process. But just to explain, when you book on laughingvikings.com, you'll immediately get a confirmation email that's got all our directions and everything. We do also ask that people fill out a screening questionnaire for two reasons. One is for COVID, so a couple quick COVID questionnaires. And then the other is the info about your session. So how many scenes you have, where the file needs to be emailed to. Do you need a slate? What's your character name? And there's a spot where you can upload the script, so then your session director can have everything in advance already. If you don't have an opportunity to upload it, you can always just email it to us when you arrive. So that's the first thing. When you arrive, we ask people to maybe show up a couple minutes early, maybe aim to be here 5 minutes early so you're not cutting into your session time.
Hmm.
COVID wise, right now, we can address, we do ask that you wear a mask when you arrive. We've got hand sanitizer at the door.
Hmm.
We wipe down all the common touch points in between, and everything is by appointment only with that screening questionnaire. But the biggest thing when you arrive that you notice is the vibe here, I would say. You're going to expect to arrive to a positive, upbeat, relaxed vibe. The vibe here is always like professional but fun. So it's kind of like a clubhouse feel, actors, for actors, by actors. You're kind of going to feel like you're coming to your home turf, or if you're an athlete, your home field or your home
Hmm.
stadium is the vibe that we want. Um, when you arrive, there's a bathroom here if you need to do any final touch-ups in the mirrors and everything. And we shoot. What do we shoot on? We shoot on I think it's a Panasonic, but it's
Yep, Panasonic
HD.
HD.
It's just, yeah, it's as HD as anything needs to be for a self tape. We got soft lights back there. We have it connected to a monitor. So generally, the first thing that we do, we like to just immediately jump into full rehearsal. So
Hmm.
you either email your sides to your session director, or if you have paper sides, and then right away the session director will frame you up. Often we're filming the first rehearsal just so you can start to figure out eye lines, look at your frame, figure out some of the blocking, and then it's just go right into it, scene by scene by scene. Generally, I know how I like to run them is we just focus on the one scene, and then when we get the thumbs up that you got your best take, then we'll move to scene two. And that's
Hmm.
usually you rehearse one, watch one on the monitor, check your eye line, see how it's all shaken up or shaping up, make sure that
Hmm.
you like what you see, and then any adjustments. And the great thing, while we don't bill the service here as coaching or anything high level like that. But all of our session directors are working actors who are trained in TV, film, commercials, theater, and have casting experience. So naturally, you're going to get suggestions and you're going to get choices and options, mostly creative things, a lot of fun suggestions. If it's a comedic point or a comedic piece or with a comedic slant, that's something that I love to direct. So you're always going to get help. I feel that everyone who comes to Laughing Vikings ends up with a better tape because they're with someone who's outside them offering up suggestions that isn't a family member. So one of the best things
Hmm.
about it is what to expect when you arrive. You're going to work with a TV, film, theater professional rather than your spouse or your kids or a neighbor or a friend, someone who is trying to help you but doesn't know what they're doing. So
Yeah.
um, that's the biggest thing. So if you're tired of bugging family and friends, or you're tired of the dynamics, I know that some people like boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife sometimes is tough to work with because it's not a working relationship in the acting world, and b there's whatever communication and relationship undercurrents are happening can kind of bleed into the session. So it's sometimes it's like two worlds colliding where you're like
Hmm.
you want to crash your marriage into your acting career. If you got someone who's super supportive and you guys vibe very well, and he or she understands the business, then great. But if you need a hand, it's just way better working with an actor, someone who is trained, someone who has an opinion in acting and directing and storytelling and some training to help you out, rather than just random suggestions from a friend or neighbor.
And Camille, who was a guest on our podcast last week, says she loves taping with Laughing Vikings. And
Thank
we
you,
love
Camille.
Camille.
Yes, thank you, Camille. Good one. Yes, thank you.
Director of Good Vibes over here.
That was a live testimonial there from Camille. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what to expect? What else? You expect a lovely studio pug here, Looney, the studio pug, pretty much everyone. Basically gives you the sniff tests. Like it's like airport security, basically, but it's pug security.
Yep. I get a greeting every time I come up those steps. It's always lovely.
Yeah, she loves you. We got a nice little back patio, so in the summertime you can step out for some fresh air. I know Chris Sandiford used to ride his bike here, and he would always come in the summertime, and he'd be drenched, like he's drenched from like a 35-degree bike ride, and then he gets here soaking wet. And the first thing he would go is like go and hang his t-shirt out the back, and just he would literally stand in the on the porch and just like air dry before he was camera ready. But yeah, we got a nice little chill zone here. We also have lots of props. We have random wigs. Being an actor myself, I've collected props and wigs and masks and all kinds of random stuff. And we have the usual household stuff. So if there's any little knickknacks or tools, or you need a glass or a mug or something for a shot, or and then we also have a lot of tech things. Like we have some of those music stands and those laptop tripods. So there's a lot of little hacks and tricks. We've used iPads for teleprompters. We can tape the sides up. We've got whiteboards that we can write lines on. We got all kinds of tape to mark your eye lines. All kinds of stuff like that. We occasionally have a handful of, like, I've had people show up and maybe they didn't have the right wardrobe even, and all of a sudden I have an extra hat or a coat or a blazer or a better colored t-shirt. So yeah, there's a lot that we can do to help you. And I think if you've come here, you know how much we were willing to help to take the tape from good to great with just these little tweaks and suggestions. Whatever it takes, baby.